best month of the year? I know I am. I know I am. I know I am. Hello everyone, it's Belle. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hello, and if you've come back, thank you so much. Today it is finally time to do our October TBR video. I'm so excited. As you know, it is obviously October, and of course that means it is officially the beginning of my favorite season of the year. Now yes, this is not going up on October, it's just going a couple of days before October because September is such a weird month, and look, you guys will know I did zero reading this month. It was a rough month, okay? Like, I couldn't think of anything worse than reading. That's really where I was at. I think it was a universal experience in September that all of us just hated reading. So that's okay, because spooky season has come to save the day. I'm really excited, and I thought today, because I know how much you guys love these videos too, we are going to let a spinning wheel choose the books that I read this month. So essentially what I have done is I have put some Halloween, okay? I know last month we did fall prompts. This month I'm doing Halloween themed prompts. They are all related to spooky season and Halloween and cozy vibes in some way or another. I have put them up on my time wasting machine. So I think I have 14 different prompts to choose from. I think I'm going to choose maybe 6 or 7. So yeah, you guys know the drill. Let's get comfy, let's get cozy, and let's get right on into this video. Guys, has anybody else been getting the Hugh Jackman videos on their For You page? I feel like, is it just because I'm a theater girly? Like, what is happening? Like, I feel like every time when I go to rehearsal, they're the only people that get it. But I'll walk around and I'll be like, I love for Brad, and no one gets it. 24601. Okay, anyways guys, so now I do actually have a couple of arcs. I've actually been sent so many arcs very recently, which is really exciting. It must just be the time of year for it. And of course, because I've been in a reading slump, I have not gotten around to them. But I know for certain that there are 2 books that I really want to read this month outside of the book club pick, which has not been chosen yet. But if you want to join along in the process, you know where to find all the info. There are 2 books that I have been very kindly sent that will be on the priority TBR for this month outside of what we are choosing. So the first one I am so excited about, you guys. It is Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I was very kindly sent an arc of this. This comes out on the 7th of October. This is so beautiful. I don't even know if the camera is doing it justice. It has this like silver metallic foiling on it. It's beautiful. Hachette in Australia, they just send out the most beautiful advanced copies, and especially of Ali Hazelwood's books, I will say. I've been very graciously gifted quite a few of them, so I'm really excited. You guys know that Bride by Ali Hazelwood is actually my favorite and I think her best work. So I'm very excited to read the next one in this series. It came out of nowhere how much I ended up loving Bride and how strong it was. So I'm really excited for this one. I can't wait to start it. And then I also have from Hachette, so gratefully have Happily Ever After by Hannah Grace, which looks like this. This is just an ARC copy. This actually comes out September 30th. So this actually comes out in a few days time, just after this video goes up, but it is on priority. It's so gorgeous. It has all these beautiful little shops down the bottom. It says, Clara Davenport wants to solve Fraser Falls' biggest problem. According to Jack Kelly, Clara is Fraser Falls' biggest problem. So I can't wait. I love Christmas books. You guys have no idea. Like, spooky season is my favorite holiday and October is my favorite holiday, but Christmas is like so close behind. It's not funny. So I can't wait to start reading all of these. And obviously I love Hannah Grace's writing, so I'm sure this is going to deliver. So those are the first 2. Okie dokes. So where's my iPad? Guys, I think I'm getting sick. I have the worst sore throat. You need to wake up with it and it's like coming on, you know it's coming on too. Okay, let's do these prompts. I'm so excited. Let's spin the wheel. See what the iPad says. It says, a book with a witch, ghost, or vampire. Ooh, okay. So we're doing something like occulty, right? Something with an occult. So to me, I'm thinking, oh, I'm looking at one right now. But I'm thinking either like a fantasy type of vibe, like witchy vibes usually means fantasy. So let me go and pull a couple of options and we'll see what we have to choose from. Okay, so guys, I found 2 books, which I'm actually really excited about. I've had them both, I want to say, for at least a year. So the first one that I saw over on my shelf just in front of me, which you guys can't see, is actually this book called The Alchemy of Moonlight. This is by David Ferraro. I will show you the front. It is just so gorgeous. I've never seen this book before. I was pretty much just like in the bookstore one day looking at the LGBT section and I saw this and I was like, you're coming home with me. Now, this one I believe is werewolves. Like I said, I know the prompt was like witches, ghosts, vampires, but you know, I'm including werewolves in that because it's in a cult, right? It's in a cult. So occult. Not in a cult, occult. From what I remember, this is like Bridgerton, but werewolves and make it fruity. And I'm like, sign me up. This one says, trapped in a world of straight expectations, Marquis Emile longs for independence. So when his aunt declares he must marry to produce an heir or be disowned, he runs away disguised as a servant until he can come of age and reclaim his inheritance. All Emile needs to do is keep his head down and bide his time, but he quickly stumbles into a mystery beyond his imagination. While working in the service of the intimidating Count Monty and his family, Emile learns that they suffer from a strange affliction every full moon, which requires full sedation, and when he discovers a mangled corpse on the estate the same night a suspicious family argument breaks out, he reports it. But Emile cannot guess what lengths Count Monty is willing to go to keep his family's secrets safe. As Emile becomes more entangled in the household and its paranormal origins, his inquiries draw the attention of the handsome Dr. Bram and the Count's charismatic nephew, Henry. It's giving love triangle, it's giving love triangle, it's giving Bridgerton, like be so for real. So that's option one. And option two is The Crimson Moth, which yes, I have had on my shelf for a really long time. It's actually funny because I just pulled out like one of my little TBR slips from my jar that I must have chosen in Easter time, and it was supposed to be a book that I've had on my shelf for a really long time. I know that this is witches. I know because the second one is called The Rebel Witch, so I'm assuming we are dealing with witches. The back of this says, the only thing more treacherous than being a witch is falling in love. Honestly, fair. On the night Rune's life changed forever, blood ran in the streets. Now in the aftermath of a devastating revolution, witches have been diminished from powerful rulers to outcasts, ruthlessly hunted due to their waning magic. And Rune must hide what she is. It's giving something I've read before. Spending her days pretending to be nothing more than a vapid young socialite. I know vapid because I'm like, Bridgerton. Rune spends her nights as the Crimson Moth, a witch vigilante who rescues her kind from being purged. Ooh, this is slay. When a rescue goes wrong, Rune decides to throw the witch hunters off her scent by courting their handsome Gideon Sharp. Except Gideon is a notorious and unforgiving witch hunter loyal to the revolution, and falling for him would be deadly. I fear this is going to eat. Guys, both of these sound really good. This one just has me gagged a tiny bit more. A tiny bit more. And I know that this is really popular, so chances are I'm probably going to like it if a lot of you guys already do like it. So, I think we should put on the TBR. Okay, book one, The Crimson Moth. I'm happy with my choice. Whilst I have a sip of tea, let's spin the wheel a second time, shall we? A book that would pair perfectly with hot chocolate. So we're thinking cozy, we're thinking romance, I think, for this time around, and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking. I'll be honest with you guys, all the books that I chose in my September TBR, I think I read one of them. There's so many great books that were in my fall, like my cozy fall section, which I was planning to read in September, and I didn't. So let me go over to my Halloween section, which is over there, and I'll see what I can find. Okie dokie, artichokes. I got two books again. Now, I'm just gonna tell you what they are. Okay. The first one was one of the options that I had for last month, but I didn't actually choose it, but I wish I did because I just think about it all the time, like the synopsis. It is This Spells Love by Kate Robb. Now, like I said, I really wanted to read this. I'm pretty sure it's like a butterfly effect, like if you went back and changed time, that sort of thing. The back says, have you ever had a breakup so bad you wish the whole relationship had never happened? Well, Gemma's wishes come true after one too many margaritas lead to her mystical aunt reading out a drunken spell. She wakes up in a parallel world where she didn't give years of her life to the wrong man. I'm remembering now. But you know what they say, be careful what you wish for, because not only is her boring ex out of the picture, but her extremely attractive best friend also has no idea who she is. And in this world, Gemma and Dax don't have years of friendship history keeping them from becoming something more. I just know this is gonna I know this is gonna eat. I really think it's such a vibe. Or I do have Promise Me Sunshine, which is by Cara Bastone. I was supposed to read this for a book club that I'm in real life. That's not my own, and I did not get around to it because obviously I'm in a slump, but that doesn't mean I still can't read it now and talk about it with the girls at a later time. This says, how do you find yourself after you lose the one you love the most? So this is gonna be really sad. Lenny has been a bit of a mess since her best friend Lou passed away. She's avoided her concerned parents, her apartment, and the list of things she's supposed to do to enjoy life again. The only thing she can handle right now is babysitting a precocious 7-year-old Ainsley. And if Lenny acts like she's fine, maybe no one will notice she's falling apart. The only issue, Ainsley's uncle Miles is always there and is kind of a huge jerk. Miles sees right through her. He knows a lot about grief and offers her a deal. He'll help her complete her live again list if she'll help him reconnect with Ainsley and his sister. Lenny doubts anything can help, but as she begins to spend more time with Miles, she begins to see that sometimes losing everything can be the first step to finding yourself again. So it gives me cozy fall, but I think this one has to be the winner. This one intrigues me so much. I do still think I'm gonna put this like to read this month. It's just not gonna be on a priority. Guys, I'm really sorry. Both sound really good, but this one I've been thinking about all month and I think it's just gonna be perfect. I love it. So that is book number 2. this spells love. All right, prompt number 3, let's spin the wheel, is read a thriller slash mystery set in fall. Ooh, okay. I do think that thrillers are either set in predominantly fall or summertime. I love a summer thriller, like a slasher. So what I'm going to do is, actually, I feel like I have a couple that are like perfect for spooky season. If I can find one set around Halloween time, that's even a bigger win. So let me look at my shelf and I'll see what we can find. Okay, so I found 2 books. I am really excited about them. It actually took a while and I didn't realize a lot of the thrillers that I do have are sort of set during summertime, which sucks, but it's okay because it's almost summer in Australia. So I wanted to read this one called The Blonde Dies First, but it's giving me like summer camp slasher and I'm like, oh, I'll have to wait. But I did find 2 really good books that are actually both set around Halloween time. So the first one that I pulled is Not Quite Dead Yet. This is by Holly Jackson. I have actually not read anything by Holly Jackson before. However, the concept of this, even when I bought it in the store, just sounds so intriguing to me. I'm pretty sure it is about a young woman who gets like attacked one night. She gets really, really bad, severe like brain injuries. She recovers from them, but however, she has like a life-threatening aneurysm in her brain that is going to rupture in the next like 7 days or something like that. So she spends those 7 days trying to find out who was going to kill her, like who tried to kill her, which I think is really cool. I'll just read the back. Yeah, it says, in 7 days, Jet Mason will be dead. Jet is 27 years old. Okay, so she's not a young girl, she's a woman. Having never left Woodstock, Vermont, she's still waiting for her life to begin. I'll do it later, she always says she has time. Until on the night of Halloween, Jet is violently attacked by an unseen intruder. She suffers a catastrophic brain injury. The doctor is certain that within a week she'll be killed by a severe aneurysm. Jet never thought of herself as having enemies, but now she looks at everyone in a new light. Her family, her ex-best friend turned sister-in-law, her former boyfriend. She has just 7 days, and as her condition deteriorates, she has only her childhood friend Billy for help. But nevertheless, she's absolutely determined to finally finish something. Jet is going to solve her own murder. I am so excited to read this. This sounds amazing. If anyone has read this, please let me know what you thought. I'm also planning a cheeky collaboration video this month to do with spooky reads, so that might be a good one. Otherwise, I also have The Haunting. This is by Natasha Preston. I do also have The Party by Natasha Preston, but when we went book shopping with Mads and the girls, Mads was saying that this one's her favorite and it is really good. This, I'm pretty sure, takes place around Halloween, with Halloween. It says, can the past haunt the present? Penny's been trying to forget about her ex, Nash, ever since his father was arrested as a brutal serial killer. But as Halloween draws near, it's hard not to think of him or what happened. Then a shopping trip with her friends ends with a horrifying discovery of a murdered classmate. Is a copycat killer on the loose? Fingers point towards Nate, but is it really him? If Penny isn't careful, it may not only be her heart that is broken. Oh, guys, they both sound really good. But again, I think I'm gonna have to go for Not Quite Dead Yet, only because out of the 2, this one is like, I want to know what happens. This one's gonna be fun to do in a little cheeky 24-hour reading challenge, which you'll hear more about later. But this one just sounds so intriguing. Like, I want to know who done it. Like, how do you even come up with a concept like that? To go like, I'm gonna try, like, come on, it's gonna be good. So book number, what is that, 3? Book number 3 on the TBR, Not Quite Dead Yet. I know it's gonna eat. Guys, if anyone's listening to Sabrina Carpenter's new album, what's your favorite song? I really want to know. I feel like I'm the only one who like listens to it around me. Like, it's really sad, and I flippin' love Sabrina Carpenter, so Nobody's Son is up there. Okay. Tears, obviously. Never Getting Laid. Guys, they're all so good. Goodbye. I love Goodbye so much. Anyways, okay. I did just spin the wheel and it has said read a book outside of your comfort zone, right? Because, you know, on spooky season, Halloween, you get scared, you get put out of your comfort zone. So for me, you guys know I read thrillers, romance, romantasy, not always in that order, but you know, they're my like main genres that I read. For me, something outside of my comfort zone would be like a general fiction, would maybe be like a high fantasy, because I don't really like high fantasy. Yeah, I do have some general fiction on the bottom of that TBR shelf, so maybe I'll go have a squiz and see what I find. Okay, I'm kind of really excited about the 2 books that I pulled because they are both very pulverizing books and very different and just stuff I would never normally reach for. So I'm just going to show you the one that is kind of tame and then we'll go to the more risque one afterwards. So I have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, which I understand is a historical fiction. You guys know I read historical romance, i.e. Bridgerton, any of those historical romance, like Regency romances. I read those a lot, but I have never read a historical fiction before. I've obviously heard wonderful things about this. I have just seen people read it and cry and say say it changed their life and it's one of their favorite books of all time. I think this might be set in like World War II. I don't know. So let's read the back. It says, this story is about what it's like to be a woman during the war when women's stories are all too often forgotten or overlooked. Love that. With courage, grace, and powerful insight, best-selling author Kristen Hanna captures an epic panorama of World War II and illuminates an intimate part of history seldom seen, the Women's War. The Nightingale tells a story of two sisters separated by years and experience, by ideals, passion, and circumstance, each embarking on her own dangerous path towards survival, love, and freedom in war-torn France. It is a heartbreakingly beautiful novel that celebrates the resilience of the human spirit and the durability of women. It is a novel for everyone, a novel for a lifetime. Wow, that is such a beautiful synopsis. Soon to be a major motion picture. Wow. Anyway, that's option 1. And then option 2, guys, I would like to say these are memoirs. This is called Taboo, and it is by Hannah Ferguson. At the top, it literally says conversations we never had about sex, body image, work, and relationships. So earlier this year in January, I'd like to say I was part of a collaboration with Dimmicks and 10 other booktokers where each of us basically like recommended a new book, like a very unpopular book, or like one of our favorite like go-to recommendations for like a summer reading list basically. And what I loved about the list is that we had booktokers who didn't just do romance, who just did romantasy. We had a mixture of quite literally everything. We had people who read poetry and lit fic, general fiction, romantasies, thrillers, adult romance. Obviously, I put in a romance. I put Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope. But one of the creators recommended this, and this was part of that list. So we all got sent a nice big box of all the books. And this one has been intriguing me for a really long time. I've just been afraid of it because, again, it is just something I've never read before. Like, it is all basically like a bunch of memoirs. So the back says, it says, a vulnerable exploration of modern womanhood that weaves deeply personal stories with opinions and advice on sex, friendship, family, career, and beyond. This part memoir, part feminist manifesto meets women where they are and as they are. Hannah exposes and celebrates the messy, honest, and insular parts of ourselves in a book designed to feel like a late night conversation with your best friend. One that will make you laugh and cry and that you'll never want to end. I can't wait. I just think that's gonna be great. I'm also really excited to read this because I know I have a few friends in real life who will really love something like this. So guys, I actually think I'm gonna put this one on, even though The Nightingale sounds incredible. I actually think Taboo at the moment is really calling to me. It's just like something that I'm in the mood for. And we should always try something different. Look, when I started reading again, I should say, like obviously I read when I was younger. When I got back into reading 2 or 3 years ago, I was strictly reading romance. I wouldn't like look at any other genre. So the fact that I now read like romance, romantasy, thriller, like why are we limiting ourselves? Like let's expand the genres even more. So book number 4 is going to be Taboo. What? Taboo by Hannah Ferguson. Alrighty, what is that? Prompt number 5? No, prompt number 4. So we're spinning for prompt number 5. And it is, read a book that scares you in theme or length. Okay, so considering we just did a one that's like out of my comfort zone, I think what we're gonna do here is a book that scares me due to its length, due to its size, okay? And look, size never matters. However, we are all guilty of postponing a book because of its size, okay? Sometimes you see a book and because it is ginormous, it is incredibly intimidating. So, oh, I mean, look, there are some romances I'm looking at on my shelf right now that are kind of big and I'm like, I've been putting you off, I've been putting you off, I'm putting you off. Let me have a look and I'll see what I can find. Okay, we got 2 chunker romance books. The first one that I actually pulled off my shelf was All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. Again, I don't know what the mental block is here. Like, I don't know what is going on. I think this book has tried to go on my TBR like 16 million times this year. I don't know why. Like, the concept is there. It's single parent, it's small town. Like, I don't understand why I'm so scared to read it. I really don't know. I have no excuses for you. Anyway, the second one is obviously Releasing 10, okay? It just intimidates me. Not only, like, look, I'm kind of used to these books being big now, so the size of them doesn't really intimidate me because I usually end up wanting them to be like 35 million pages longer. The reason this one intimidates me and scares me is because it's intimidating and I'm scared to read it. It's just very heavy. It's incredibly graphic and detailed, and for somebody who doesn't have triggers, this series is hard to get through because I just cry for the whole time because you really do read The Boys of Tommen for the characters, and I think like seeing the characters, like especially after reading Taming Seven, like I just did not realize how deeply that book was going to affect me because I just love Gibbsy so much, and seeing him go through hardships was like at times too much for me because I was like, I just can't believe this is happening. And I just have heard so many things from a lot of people saying that this one is probably the most triggering book out of the series so far. There's a lot of things I've heard about what happens, like actual details of things that happens, and I'm like, I can't believe that's in here. I gotta mentally prepare myself. Look, I'm saying this and I know that I recommend The Boys of Toman all the time because I do love it, especially Binding and Keeping 13, but I think what needs to be talked about even more is the fact that this series is really, really, really heavy. It can be incredibly triggering for a lot of people. There are a lot of difficult themes in here that if you are not in the right headspace to read, if they are triggering topics for you, they are not going to be books for everybody. Whilst I literally want every person in the world to read them, I understand that they are not going to be for everybody. Now, this is book number 6 in the series. This is going to be Lizzie and Huey. So yeah, and they're also just like two characters that, no offense, especially as a Gibbsy girly, I just don't really care what happens with them. That's why I haven't really rushed to read their book. I obviously want to read their book, but it's just not a couple pairing that I really, you know, if there was intrigue there for me to like run and read it, I would have read it by now because, you know, the intrigue in the characters would have been enough. I'm sure when I do read it, my heart will break for them, but they're just not a couple that I'm like super excited for. So I do think we're going to put releasing 10 on there, even though, again, like I said, All Roads Lead Here has tried to go on about 16 TBRs this year. Yeah, I think this needs to happen. Also because, like I said, I only just freshly read Taming 7 maybe 2 months ago, so it's still in my head, the story, and I know that those two books are, the plots are very much interlapping or overlapping, I should say. So yeah, book number 5 is going to be releasing 10. Okay, let's do our lucky last one. This is going to be prompt number 6. Let's see what the spinning wheel has in store. Oh, this is a good one. I was hoping I was gonna get this one. This is a book with a villain as the love interest. Now, I already have a book in mind and like a book series in mind. If I see any others, I will let you guys know, but I think I know exactly what it's gonna be. And if you can guess, pause the video, put your guess in the comments, and then see if you're right, because I think you guys know what I'm gonna pull out. So, if you guessed Once Upon a Broken Heart, you were correct. I have been looking for an excuse to start this series all year, considering that actually Caraval, like the first series, I finished at the end of last year. So it was my last series that I read for the year. It was the last pretty much thing that I read last year in general. So I've been wanting to find an excuse to start this series, like I said, but I think I sort of had like a mental rule in my head that I was like, I need to actually finish more series before I start new ones, because I sort of felt like I was in the middle of quite a few. And I feel like this year I have, like, you know, the Rebel Blue Ranch series has come to an end, the Rose Hill series has come to an end. Like, there are a few series that I have sort of finished or have finally come to an end, so I have room to start something else. And I just feel like the new release fantasy, even just the standalones I've been reading this year, have just not been hitting. So trying to find another fantasy series that I've really loved this year outside of, you know, the Kindred's Curse saga and the Powerless trilogy, like, it's been really difficult. So I just feel like, knowing how much I loved Caraval, I know I'm gonna love this more. If you're unfamiliar, this is by Stephanie Garber. Now, Stephanie Garber has 2 series at present that do sort of interconnect. The first one is the Caraval trilogy. That is technically something that takes place first, and you meet the main character of this series in that series, and his name is Jax, and he is the Prince of Hearts. He is the villain, okay? He is known as the villain, especially in that series, and in this series, his series, he's the main character and is still considered a villain. So let's read the back. It says, how far would you go for happily ever after? For as long as she can remember, Evangeline Fox has believed in happily ever after, until she learns that the love of her life is about to marry another and her dreams are shattered. Desperate to stop the wedding and heal her wounded heart, Evangeline strikes a deal with the charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts. In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses, to be given at any time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more from her than she pledged. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. I've just heard from so many people, so many different things about how this is their favorite trilogy out of the 2. It's so much better than Caraval. As somebody who loved Caraval, I'm incredibly intrigued, because I'm like, is it really? Like, I loved Caraval so much, and I know and have heard that this one is more romantic, so I can maybe see why it appeals to a wider audience. So yeah, I'm really excited. So 6th and final book on this little TBR for October is Once Upon a Broken Heart. Okay, so guys, we have all of our books. Let's just quickly run through what we have. I'm really excited. There's like a nice bunch of like a bit of everything. I think we've got an even split of like romance, romantasy, and some thrillers. So obviously my priority reads, I have Happily Ever After by Hannah Grace and Mate by Ellie Hazelwood. I have The Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarelli. I think this is going to be a really interesting one. This Spells Love by Kate Robb. I have Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. I have Taboo by Hannah Ferguson. Releasing 10 10 by Chloe Walsh, and finally Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I'm just really excited. Yeah, so we've got like 1, 2, 3 romances, 2 romanticies, 1 thriller, and 1 like memoir non-fiction. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a great month. Alrighty guys, that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for sticking through all the way to the end if you did. I really appreciate it. What are you guys planning to read in October? Are you guys Halloween people? Do you read themed for the month? Because I know I have been saving a lot of these books, like I said, to read during this time. So let me know. Do you do a seasonal TBR? Do you just stick to what you usually like? Let me know. As always, if you guys aren't already, you're more than welcome to follow me on my socials. I'll leave my handles on the screen and down in the description box. And if you'd like to, you can like this video and subscribe to my channel, and make sure that you're hitting that notification bell, that way you're notified each time a brand new video goes up. Thank you guys so much for stopping by again. I really appreciate it. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a lovely day or a lovely night, and I shall see you guys next time. Bye!